Our next speaker is someone who brings clarity, strategy, and a whole lot of heart to everything she does. Christine Campbell Rapin is the founder of Clear Acceleration Inc. and international best-selling author and a seasoned expert with more than 25 years of experience across marketing, sales, and operations. With a Bachelor of Commerce and an MBA in International Business, Christine has helped companies from startups to global giants achieve breakthrough success using simple, focused strategies that actually work. So in her session coming up now, Fractured to Focus, 3 non-negotiables to ignite your client growth, Christine will share the essential daily activities that drive real results. She'll show you how to move away from scattered, exhausted marketing and instead build a simple, sustainable growth engine that creates predictable revenue. So if you're ready to ditch the overwhelm and focus on what really moves your business forward, this is the session for you. So without further ado, I'm going to skip off and tune into what Christine has to say. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is an absolute pleasure for me to be here today. I am a straight talker. Shocker for many of you. So I need permission. I need permission from the room to make it simple, elegantly simple. I want to ask you if today we could actually start at step 1. Like, who's here coming on camera to tell me, Christine, yes, please help me start at step 1. Because seriously, I will tell you that the biggest challenge I see with business owners is that they get caught up in the mirage of step 20 and comparing their business to somebody else who is living in a different season and then feels crappy about their journey. The self-doubt runs rampant, and you're wondering, is it me? Like, have I really got what it takes to be here? And we are 5 months into the year. I'm going to ask you to get some real honest with me as a straight talker and say, are you okay? Or are you wobbling? Are you wobbling about your big vision? Are you wobbling about your sales? Are you wobbling about what to do next? And are you totally thinking, I'm confused as all get out? Like I just want to get honest about where we are, because I'm going to give you a very straight roadmap. And this will be worth your VIP experience. Because you're thinking, I don't know who you are, but I do need simple. I'm here to tell you how we're going to go from being really fractured with a million open tabs and trying to do a million things to doing the 1 or 2 things that truly move the needle. And specifically, I want to show you how the world of business runs. So many people think that the goal of speaking is simply to speak. Hands up or pop me in the chat if this is you. That you're here because you want simply to take a stage, and that is the destination that you will celebrate achieving. If it's simply talking out loud, is that you? Is that who you are and where you are right now in your business journey? Or is it something else? Because what I will tell you is that speaking is the vehicle, it's not the destination. If you are here as a business owner, it's not about speaking. It's about what moves with the talk. And your goal is client growth. And that means we got to talk about the world of business, and nobody talks about the world of business at step 1 because it's not sexy. And you'd rather talk about yachts and working 4 hours a week and doing all but nothing and getting really well paid. Well, I want you to have a beautiful life. I want you to have success, and I want you to get there without the overwhelm, the confusion, and the comparatitis that is rampant in your world right now. And I will tell you this, I've helped people create $1 billion. That's a big number, billion. And there's only 3 reasons that you might not have the business you want. And if you're wobbly right now, I need you to get honest, and I'm going to invite you into the chat to tell me where you are starting from. Because what matters is not the past. What matters is you're standing at the Q2, the cliff of danger in your business. And if you do not get a gigantic kick in the butt from me today, you might not make it through to September. So ask yourself, what's your problem right now? What characterizes your business? Because I believe my business is called Clear Acceleration. If you can get clear, you can move, and you can always adjust and choose your speed, because life's, even for all of us. You can solve everything. So I want to know, pop it in the chat, are you a problem solver? Or are you avoiding the discomfort and putting your head in the sand and being an ostrich, which is not serving you? Are you willing to solve this with me? Because the choice is yours. Nobody is going to build your business for you. Nobody's going to take the stage for you. Nobody is going to gift you constant do-overs if you simply sit on the sidelines. You have to be a problem solver. So I know Natalia is a problem solver. I know Lee is a problem solver. Who else here is joining me to solve this problem, which is to use speaking as a vehicle to create the income and the impact that you seek? I've got some people joining the crowd. Dean's joining the crowd. Dee is joining the crowd. Paulette is joining the crowd. Guys, we have to solve this. And I believe in Post-it note mentoring. So you're going to want some Post-it notes after me, and you can even look at, I bet you if I invited Jen, she would show you. She has a Post-it note from every talk I've been invited to solve. And Post-it notes will rule your life. It keeps it simple. I'm a problem solver. Post-it note number 1. It's a declaration to yourself that you're capable of solving. And in business, here's a plot twist. For every problem you solve, a new one's created. So you got to always be a problem solver. And the number 1 problem we solve is cash. Love it. Love seeing this gem in here. So, okay. So what problem are you needing to solve? I've got all kinds of problem solvers in the room, my kind of crowd. The first thing is, do you know how to create clients? Let's just get honest. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. If you're thinking, I don't know how to create clients, I don't know how to own a stage, to create leads, to build a relationship, and to make offers that get to yes, you want to own right now, I have a gap of knowledge that I need to solve. I need to solve the how problem. Is that you right now? Do you know how to solve this? And if not, I want to know that you are owning a knowledge gap right about now. You're number 1. Put number 1 in the chat if you are a problem needing a knowledge gap solved. Number 2 is somebody who says, I do know how. It means you have created at least 1 client in your history of being a business owner. And your issue is that you don't do it frequently enough, predictably enough, with confidence enough, 12 months of the year enough. And right now, you're not sure what to change. Because if you knew what to change, you're a bright, capable person. You told me you're a problem solver and you would solve this on your own. But here's the truth. If you could solve it, you would have. So maybe you need a second pair of eyes. Well, I'm inviting you to say, I know how to spot a pattern, solve a problem, and create $1 billion in revenue. So having me in your network, come find me. I can help you be your blind spot seeker. So Audrey is saying, I know how, but it's not enough. Abigail is saying, how is my challenge? Come on, guys, be honest. Where are you? Is it knowledge or is it optimization? And 3, you don't know how, but truthfully, you're the problem. You're the bottleneck. You're waiting for it to be convenient. You're highly distracted by all the shiny objects. You are learning and learning and learning and learning and learning and not earning because you're waiting for it not to be uncomfortable. So tell me if it's just truthful. You can be absolutely all 3 of them. because truthfully, you will be all three of them. But when someone says to me, I have a knowledge problem, I'm saying, solve it. When I say you have a blind spot, don't expect a miracle. You will never see your ears doesn't mean they're not here. And if you're waiting for somebody else to rescue you, I will tell you this with great absolute kindness. Entrepreneurship is not for you. Because it is not about convenience. If we want to start at step one, you cannot skip the awkward learning curve. You can't get to 100K or $1 million or 2 if you never do one. And if you have a question to leave the room today, it's this one. This is a writer downer. Am I avoiding discomfort or am I managing it because I am a problem solver? To be great in business, you have to build the foundations. And that is what I will say the $1 billion behind me says I'm quite exceptional at. So let me show you how to solve the how to optimize better, to get out of the overwhelm, and hopefully light your engine. So here's my pinky swear. I need permission again. I want to know if you will cut the BS with me. Do you actually want what you say you want? Because we're 5 months into the year. You're in the Q-TIFF cliffhanger. And if you don't know what the Q2 cliffhanger is, let me tell you. Your results right now come from what you did in January, February, and March. The work you do today will pay your summer hydro bill or your ice cream account at the local ice cream parlor. And if you don't have clients, a pipeline, an engine, and a business that is solving problems, you are going to take the summer off because you don't have clients. Which means in September, you're starting from zero and you're going to say this, 2026 will be my year. And I want to say, stop. Please, for the love of it, I want you to win today. There's lots of opportunity, but you have to cut the BS and we have to solve this. And I want you to do it by finding simplicity. Pick your lane. And I'm going to share some options that win right now in the marketplace. So you don't have to guess. I will give you the shortcut. You will have to do the work. The Post-it note I just said, avoiding discomfort or managing it, question every day. You've got to lean into the awkward learning curve. You've got to practice to reach mastery. And you're going to do things you don't want to do. You may never love a sales call, ever. That's cool. It doesn't mean you should stop having sales calls. It means you're going to have to do the things that get you the income, get you the impact. And the faster you start, the more often you do it, the easier it gets and the better you get. Because my friends, this is a game of inches, one step at a time. If you can stay in motion, you will build momentum. And here's a second or third Post-it note. You might have so many Post-it notes now, you're already going mind-blowing. Here is a really important Post-it note. This is my #1 motivation every single day in my business. Get off zero. I don't care what speed you want to travel. I don't care what your dollar is that you want to create in your business, but nothing is achieved at zero. The hokey pokey with 1 foot in, 1 foot out is zero. The comfort zone is zero. My goal, Post-it note, every day, and I say it to my clients at least 100 times a week, get off zero. That's the only goal you have. And I will tell you, if you are struggling to do this by yourself, stop and come and work with a mentor who will help you get off zero, show you how to stay in momentum, tell you exactly what to do in what sequence to help you stay in your lane and get honest every single day. So, preamble, I want to know, pop it in the chat. When you got out of bed today, other than being here with Jen, Eric, and all the people who've been incredible speaking so far, what was your number one priority that you thought, if I ticked this off my task list of the day, you would feel good about the state of your business and you as a business owner? So pop it in the chat. What is the thing that you would feel good about today? What would make you sleep better tonight? Pop it in the chat. I want to know what you got going on that you would feel good about. What kind of things are you spending your time on? What did you do today that you thought, it's Wednesday? It is May 7th. I'm going to complete this one thing and sleep better tonight. Preparing registration pages, learning at least one new thing, finishing my consultancy report. What else? Like, what's going to be the thing that makes you finally exhale? Because I'm watching you go blue and broke and struggle and be overwhelmed because you've got a million tabs open. Posting one video, writing a post, beginning my ability to speak soon. What else? Speaking engagements, focusing on the event, to be able to respond to certain emails, getting a client. Dean, you get 1,000 bonus points because that is the only top priority for a business owner to have every single day. Your goal is sales. Your goal is an offer and a sale, because everything else you're doing is a distraction for a someday opportunity. And it's not to say that we don't need to build a pipeline, because I'm going to show you how to build a pipeline, but your number one goal today was get off zero, make money. And for everybody who just got weirded out in the room, that I said your goal was money, monetary exchange is how we, across all cultures, across all corners of the world, recognize value. So don't get weirded out. I don't need any more broke entrepreneurs in the world. I want you to create income so you can create impact, so you can hire other people, share your money at ice cream parlors, holidays, and support your families. So money isn't weird. Your task is client growth. And that's why I said at the beginning, speaking is a vehicle. It's not the destination. So let me tell you, what do you do? Christine, what do you do to actually make money? Well, I want to tell you this story. Absolutely, Marilyn. Making money means I change people's lives, and it's exchange of value and getting off zero. I didn't start out to build a global consulting business helping people like you, entrepreneurs who need to help solve problems more frequently and more predictably. It wasn't like I got up one day and said, I'm going to go start this business. I didn't know so many of you were going broke because I wasn't in the broke lane. I lived in the world of business. I have a unique career background in the world of corporate because I was successful in marketing, sales, and operations. All of the business fundamentals you need to be a business owner, because it's not enough to deliver a talk. It's not enough to just deliver a client experience. You have to market. You have to sell. You have to collect money. You have to have all kinds of things. And you don't have to do it all yourself, but you need to understand how it works. And I started a side hustle. So if you're a side hustler in the room, so I know I got my peeps here. I started a business on the side on top of my job to make more money. Specifically, I had a goal, wanted to retire earlier because my husband didn't have great health. And I said, I can't wait till he's 80. He won't make it. I need to do it earlier. So I had to make more money. Sue's a side hustler. Love that. Nice to see you, Sue. And I started building my side hustle business 1 hour a day. That's it. I made money working 1 hour a day. I was not making $1 million, just so we're clear about the volume and size of this goal. Nor will you. Because I work a lot more than an hour a day today, most days. But I just got back. If you follow me on social media or you come find me, you will see that I have just spent a week on holiday. I was in Orlando, Florida, got to go and behind the scenes before it's open experience of Epic, the new Universal Studio. And even while I was working, by choice as a business owner, I worked an hour a day. I booked sales calls. I focused on the money. I prepared to be here to help you make money. So in that 1 hour, here's what you need to do, and nothing else until you make enough money that you don't have problems 1, problems 2, or problems 3 that we started with. It's simpler. Your business will be built on strangers. Pop that in the chat so you hear this, you see it, and you understand it. Your business will be built on strangers, which means you always need to be making friends with new people. If you want to get off that roller coaster that I was on, that you have been on, the key to this is leads, new people, new potential buyers, new prospects. And that is why stages and speaking truly is the fastest path to cash, and it is the thing that always works. We heard Jan talk about the really famous people you knew. What was the through line all of them have? Speaking. Because people connect and do people business. So you need to be tracking how many new people are you meeting? And you're not meeting people on social media. You need to go meet people in real life. So if you meet somebody on social, you need to bring them offline and get to know them as people. But you can't make sales when you have 0 people to talk to. It just doesn't work. So we need to up the quantity of strangers we are meeting in not creepy ways. And number 2, how many offers are you making? Because we're 5 months into the year and we all started from the same place. You and I are peers. We both started with 0 revenue on January 1. We all started with 0 offers, 0 new people, 0, 0, 0. But perhaps the biggest difference between you and I today is that I got off 0. And you might be right now needing to remind yourself and really make sure you write that Post-it note. My number 1 goal is to get off 0. And if I had one thing to focus on, it's making strangers and making offers. So technically that's 2 things to focus on. But this will predict your revenue more than everything else that you popped into the chat. Writing a newsletter, following up on social, editing a video, doing something someday won't create you cash today. And what you do today will pay your July bill. What you do tomorrow will pay your August bill. And that means it's important to start today. You haven't got the luxury of waiting. And I just made an offer this morning. My very first call of the day was a sales call, and I made sales. And I asked them this simple question. What's your biggest sales period of the year? And he said, September. I said, so you should be working with me starting at the end of this month because we need to be working together June, July, August to build the pipeline, this whole bunch of strangers that you need to getting in front of so that in September, when I'm running a sales sprint, you have somebody to talk to. Or you'll be making 2026 your year. So my friends, declutter. 2 things predict your revenue. This is the measure of your business. And if you want to get real, all of us have periods in our business where the answer is zero. Zero new people, zero offers. But audit yourself in the last 30 days. Go back to April. What did you do? How many offers did you make? How many strangers did you meet? If the answers are not more than can count on your hand, your business activity isn't in the right place. And it needs to go north. And that's a problem you actually can solve. So I promised to tell you how to run the business. Here it is. This is the nuts and bolts. You have to have 3 key business skills. You do not have to have them from day one, but I said today we were starting with one. Where's your gap? Is step 1. Step 1 is where's your gap? Because once you know where the gap is, you've told me you're going to solve the problem. And you're going to solve that problem and identify the next gap and solve the next problem and identify the next gap. But without doubt, every single day in your business from now forevermore, you must be able to find a buyer. And there was a great question in Jan's session, which was, how do I know what room to get into? How do I know if this talk is the right space? How do I know if the right audience is in the room? You have to get off zero. You have to show up. You have to talk to somebody. You have to determine it. And you have to know what you want out of each intentional step off zero. But you're looking for buyers, and I will tell you who a buyer is in a second, so there's no mistaking, because you'll go broke being in rooms of non-buyers. But once you know who a buyer is, you can use the word customer, client, or service person. I don't care what word you use. We're talking about the person who has a credit card to put money in your pocket. The second thing you must be able to do is to recognize people only pay for one thing, and Orly said it great earlier. They don't pay for inspiration. They pay for result. So you need to know what results you help people with, because you have to move somebody from curious, that's the hook in the talk title, to a result, which delivers something that has monetary interest to be exchanged. So I came here today, I said to you, I will show you how to grow a business, because you said I have a gap there. I'm showing you how to do this so that you can make money and use talking to create more leads. But you have to do this. And here's just something that you might find shocking. Here's shocking news, my friends. You don't get to have one conversation, and it isn't about posting once on social media, because if all it took was posting on social media, we'd all have $1,000,000 businesses. And we don't. 2% of people have $1,000,000 businesses. I play with a lot of 2% businesses, but not everybody wants that. But here's the deal. An average potential buyer, a shopper, a customer, or a client will look at 10 to 12 touch points before they're visible to you. So they're going to research you. They're going to watch things you've contributed to. They're going to evaluate and form an opinion. We call that the know, like, and trust factor. And this all happens before they are standing in front of you saying, tell me what your programs and services are. So you have to have a plan to move people. Nobody got out of bed today to hire me today, and yet I made money when I got out of bed, because I was looking for a sale, looking for the opportunity, and when I saw it, I offered. And I moved them. And this person's known me for a while and said, I know you're capable. I know what you do is great. I am going to work the money out. Guys, this is strategy, because the answer is not another complicated tech tool. It is not all required AI, and it's not a big ad budget. You're comparing how a business should run with somebody who's got step 20 figured out, and you're starting with step 1. Step 1 is go talk to a stranger. That's it. Next piece of the puzzle is you must lead the offer. Okay? Nobody's going to make a sale if they just stumble upon you and you hope that they just open their wallet and fall over you and say, curtsy, here's my credit card. It doesn't happen that way. And truthfully, I will tell you the story about my first client. because I'm speaking at an event of hers in a couple weeks. I met her on a stage. She and I knew each other from a networking community, and she was running a podcast. That podcast was about aging parents. And I have two on my side, and I did have two on my husband's. My mother-in-law passed this past year. And I wasn't there to talk about business. I wasn't there to talk about how to find clients. I was talking about the challenges of being a woman who has early 20-year-old kids and parents and the complexities of that. And while she was asking me basic conversation, which I thought were background questions, she said, I think you misunderstood. I want to pay you. And I'm like, for what? I was so confused. Honestly, I was so confused. And she's like, no, I want to hire you. I'm like, what do you think you're hiring me for? I'm still super confused. She's like, you know how to find customers and you know how to run a business. And I don't know how to do either of those. And I've been spending a lot of money trying to figure it out. So what's your price? I'm getting my credit card. And I'm like, I don't know how to take a payment. I don't even think I want to run a consulting business. Like, what the hell's really happening? And I chose not to run away because I was in that awkward learning curve. I managed my fear. I bumbled through my pricing. I offered her half the price I thought I would charge in my land of theory because I got scared. And I had my first client. And I thought, I wonder if she'll show up. Oh my God, what if she does? I had to stay in the room and I had to solve the problem. And fast forward 5 years later, here we are. So I want you to think about where your gaps are in your business foundations, because what matters most is that you decide you want this. You start at step one and you solve the problem. That's it. Business growth is actually really elegantly simple. And I want to blow your mind. This is probably one of Jen's post-it notes. Are you viewed as a likable expert, or are you viewed as the must hire? And this is equally important when you're thinking about the buyer is the event host whose stage you want to speak at. I've got something that everybody talks about, or am I the person who's got a catchy title that delivers a result that I know I need? You have to be a need. And it's equally true if you're trying to find clients from the leads after you've delivered the talk. You've got to stop being the best friend who gives free information that people don't implement. That does not mean you don't give away all your information. There's not a single thing I won't tell you about how to run a business for free, because I know the issue. If you can run it, I want you to be winning it, because I don't want to see another broke entrepreneur. But I'm also really sure I'm a safe bet if you want help implementing it. And that's the track record. So who do you want to be? Liked but not paid. Liked and well paid. Pop it in the chat. What do you want? You absolutely can get jobs out of speaking. I think every time in this room, and Jen knows this story, I've spoken on her stages many times. I'm always saying I'm allowed to come in with fire. And she's like, yes, bring your fire. And out of these conversations, the reason I keep coming back is because I love these people. I love what they're doing, but I create leads and I've also created clients. And I'm not pressuring anybody into anything because my certainty is not persuasion. Because I know my business will be here in 6 months. Do you? And when it comes to helping people with results, 80-20, simplify. Speaking is fast, speaking is easier, and it works. Because future clients want two things: predictable results and to know they made a good decision. And that's what your booking agent, your event host, or the person running the stage wants from you. I want you to deliver what you said you were going to deliver, And I want to know I made a good decision inviting you onto my stage. So one final thing, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. I'm going to tell you what a buyer is, because this is important. And if you don't nail this, you'll stay broke. Buyers have three things. You need to go to a room where people are already problem aware. If they don't know a problem exists, you're interesting like wallpaper, but not a priority. It's easier to solve a problem when somebody knows they have it. And because the best business advice I can give you is find a pattern that repeats itself, find a repeating problem. Because if I'm a human who has a repeating problem, almost all of us live the same 6 months over and over again, all of our lives. I know I've tried to solve it. And you might be thinking, oh, that's really sad. I don't want people to work with past coaches or work with other speaker agents or work with anybody else. I'm thinking that's a buyer. That's a good thing because they've tried to solve it. They've tried to Google it, Pinterest it, YouTube it. They've downloaded a free resource. They went to a workshop. They paid for courses. They paid for something else. And here's the truth, the elephant in the marketplace. They still have a gap, which means there's still opportunity. And you need to be clear why you're the must hire. And I'm committed to change. Because your goal and responsibility is not to drag somebody across the finish line. The world does not want to be rescued. It doesn't. Please hear this really loudly. The world does not want to be rescued. Once you've decided to solve the problem, you will rescue yourself. That is as true for you and your business as it is for your next client. They know they have a problem. They know they have a gap. When they draw the line in the sand for the millionth time and say, I'm going to fix this, they'll have skin in the game and commitment. And when you're supporting a client, what's really important is that you recognize this. They're going to be human. And Jen said that in his presentation, which means they're going to be erratic, not always go straight forward, and they'll need to be supported through wobbles. So please support them as a human, because that's how they'll get better results. And so I want to open up for questions, stop the share, and I'll give the opportunity to talk about what the gifts are, because I'm going to help you rock this, because I want you to win. What kind of questions have you got now that I've lit up your brain?
Yes, do raise your hand if you want to ask a question, or ask a question in the chat. You know, just before you answer some questions, I'm probably not going to say this very eloquently, but it was just something I was thinking. I love your honesty. It's very refreshing. And I love the fact that you have a lovely balance of being honest that makes us, as what I call squeaky bum stuff. It's like, oh, but you do it in such a way that you're not demolishing us. It's very easy for people to be unkind and go, well, you're not doing that, you're this, you're that, or the other. But I love the way that you temper it so that you're giving us food for thought, and there's lots going on without being hurtful and unkind. You're just giving us a sort of loving poke and going, what about this? Are you doing that? Are you this? Are you that? And you know, I will, here you are, literally, here are my post-it notes. Here are my post-it notes. Literally here, are you the likable expert and the must hire expert? And the first time I heard you say that, literally it sits on my wall, and I think I might have been the likable expert for quite a long time, you know, giving away my stuff that other people charge for. This really, I look at this all the time. And the other one that you didn't mention today, and I'm probably paraphrasing here, just wonder if you might just extend on this a little. If people don't buy, you haven't quite relayed the value. And I love that, because often that, you know, when we're in a sales situation, and, you know, you were speaking about sales earlier, and we get disappointed that we put our heart and soul into something and people don't buy, and we think, oh my goodness. But it made me rethink when you said that maybe people haven't understood the value of what you're offering. I wonder if you might speak to that just for a moment.
I will. I'll speak to two things. And this is a really important, this is a post-it note to add to the collection. Thank you.
For goodness sake, I'm running out of wall, for goodness.
We need a bigger house. We can help you build that, no problem. But here's the truth. And we talk about the world authenticity, but I thank you for the compliment, because truly, 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 I want you to win. And if you want to find success in your business, stop focusing on the how. You're trying to respond to something that hasn't been established as a want. And if you can get clear on the want is compelling, it creates the movement. And when someone says, I want that, the next natural question in movement is, how do I get it? And you can be in this beautiful place to respond to how, but you can't win a client starting with how, because you're talking at them. You haven't established want. And want is something we go right past. And as we get out of sync and we start to stall our businesses, it always comes down to the fact we are out of sequence with the want, because a decision is a moment in time on a continuum of life, and you get to choose where you intersect it. And so when you're making an offer, your job is never to judge whether someone can afford you. You have to establish want. And you say, if you want this, we have to get clear. What makes this want worth it? This is I got a great opposite. I was receiving end of sales this week, and somebody's pitching me, cold pitch. Somebody I know, I've been on their podcast, and now is trying to sell me into a community. And he's asked me this question. Before he's told me about the product, the nuts and bolts, candies and balloons that it comes with. And he said, Christine, let me ask you a question. If we were sitting in Starbucks a year from now, what would make this the best decision you made this year? That's his soft close. And that's a sales term, but what he's asking me is, what makes you want it enough that it's worthwhile? And if you do not get to a decision, and it means that you haven't established the want, and you haven't established that they're buyers. And there's opportunity to address that, but you can't convince somebody who doesn't want it.
Yeah, love it. I love it, love it. A couple of more questions, if we may. Our lovely Dr. Arthi is asking, what's your advice for people who suffer with self-sabotaging their sale and ability to allow abundance into their lives by seeking the sale or building the relationship?
Yeah, there's a couple things to unpack in that. So the first thing is, you have to understand that it's not about you. You're going to be a business owner, it is the ultimate service of something else. And so when it comes to self-sabotage, we all do it. And the only way truly past it is a choice that said, I will get off zero for the service of something else. We make more sales if we have staff than if we had just ourselves, because we'll stay broke for a really long time. But if we have to pay somebody else's bill, we'll make the phone calls we don't want to make. So the first thing I would say is we have to recognize what is compelling. Notice the what is compelling us to choose this path. And we have to get personally really clear. Why is it worth it to us? Why is it a non-negotiable? And when I bring in clients to work with us in our business, the very first thing we spend a lot of time is on vision. What do you want? I'm here to support and facilitate it, but if I don't know what it is you want, I can't be the barometer to, does it actions equal and are they congruent? Second piece of that is, how do I be open to receiving it? And that means, truthfully, the easiest way to be open to receiving and to stop the self-sabotage is to not walk the story solo. We run sales sprints and lead sprints in our business. They're super affordable. And the reason we do that, I said, it's not that you don't know what to do. You have the knowledge, but you have to optimize it. And you need to be in accountability spaces with zero judgment. Because I said, I'm here to receive and to support you, but I'll help you get off zero. And so it is about providing the container to be compelled and to be reminded, have a good inner circle, be reminded, this is why you told me it was worth it. How are you doing over there?